Okay, this is going to be part one of the differential robot build. We're going to start with the feet and legs. I have one unit here already assembled, so you can kind of see what we're aiming for. And this would be the robot, so let's see if you look at it correctly, it'd be his left leg and foot. The parts do have a left and right to them, so you may have to use this video and pictures to figure out what goes where. Now mainly for the screw parts for one foot leg assembly, you're going to need, let's see, two 440 screws that are 5/8 of an inch long and one 440 screw that's 3/8 of an inch long. This is the shorter one. Of course, you could use the longer one, it's just going to stick out. So no big deal there. And if you live in the land where you use millimeters, you'll have to do some conversion online to figure out what your closest screw to an American 440 screw would be. In my case, I just happen to have these domed head ones that are Allen ones. I would have preferred Phillips, but this is what I had in my junk box, so that's what I ended up using. It's the only reason they're that color. And these silver ones, these are all 632 screws, but the majority of them are 1/2 inch long, and then let's say there's 6 of them that are 1/2 inch long. There's 4 of them that are 3/8 long, just a little bit less than a half, and then there's one that I have at 3/4, which I believe is the one here at the knee joint for holding this part in. Anyway, that's the way my memory remembers it. We're going to find out as we put some of this together. You can see these would be the parts you'd have to print, and again you'd have to figure out, you know, what's going to be on the right and what's going to be on the left. It's not too hard to match up these kind of parts. Obviously this one, when it prints flat, has supports in here that you have to remove, but this part's going to get glued on like that, which I guess we could pretty much do any time to get that prepped up and ready. But let's keep talking here for a second. The ratchet wheels, I've already put the rubber grommets on. You sure? Just have different sizes of these laying around in the kits that I buy. You can find some that fit. And of course there's a forward and a backward to your ratchet wheels. We'll talk about that when we get in there. This is the part that goes in that knee assembly. It's going to go inside there. 2 different leg linkage ones, the upper one that goes up to the body and the lower one that goes from the knee down to the foot. These are the 2 ratchets that'll be down inside the foot, and then these are the foot parts. These are just cosmetic pieces that get glued onto the outside just to add a little bit of relief, a little bit of extra look to the whole thing. But we need to start by gluing these halves together, and make sure you find the right 2 halves. When you have them, when you have the right 2, you'll notice that there's this hump part that lines up. So if you're starting from scratch and you've got a left foot part and a right foot part, then you know that hump thing would be in the wrong place, and you go, oh, that's not the right one. So it doesn't really matter whether you apply the glue along here or along here. I think I'll apply it onto here. And I'm sitting down now so I can't see what's in camera, so hopefully it's in focus. This tube's just about empty, so it's probably going to be giving me some trouble, but I don't want to waste it. If I get too much on, I'm just going to wipe it off. I'm using the number 16 weld on because it's the best thing you can find for joining PLA to PLA, cost effective wise. Just set that down on there. Just mop off the extra using the tabletop to help line up the bottom of this. I think we'll let that set for just a moment, and maybe we'll come back over to this knee part here. Let's see what I've got laying around that I can use to help line this up. I'm thinking maybe if I ran something through here to hold those two pieces lined up, then I could eyeball the upper one. Let's see. I've got a little spike thing here. Could use that there to help line them up, or it might help a little. I don't know. So let's glue those together and get that so it's ready when we get there. This inside piece was more of a cosmetic thing than structural. Can do it that way. I think we're better off holding it down on a flat surface, because then we know we're going to have several points that are lined up. Hopefully I'm close on that. Alright, let's get back to this piece here. Trying to remember what's the most logical piece to put in next. I'm thinking maybe the ratchet wheels. So you have to envision the rotation of the wheel when the foot moves forward. See these little paddles? They're gonna, if there was a ratchet on here, it would drop down. If you put it in this way and it went to ratchet, it would just slip up. So you have to look at it. You have to think about it. And it's going to go in like that. And this should be some of the shorter 632s, I think. Trying to get this little baggie open. 3/8 long. Hopefully we won't lose too many of these. Like so. I'm going to get that screw started. And if that came around, that should be aiming the right way. Of course, if you put your ratchet wheels in backwards and they don't work, all you have to do is remove a couple of screws. It's not like the end of anything. Didn't want to use the super long screws here because I want these wheels to turn really free. And if you run screws all the way in and there was any imperfections in your printed parts, then they could bind up. The main thing is we want those to be able to move freely. So now you can envision if there was a ratchet in there, that if the foot's moving forward, the wheel will go that way, and then this way it would lock up. So that's the correct direction on that. So let's do the rear. Grabbing another one of the 632s by 3/8. And this one should face the same as the front one. And another 632 by 3/8. Very good. So now let's put a couple of our ratchets in. I think the ratchets we used the 1/2 inch screws, 632s, and I think this is the front one. It's been quite a while since I've done the feet on this, since that was the first part I ever did on this project, so more than a month ago. So if I do this part wrong, or any of these parts wrong, you should be able to understand why. Okay, that's just starting to come through there. Let's start the one on this side. I think it's going to be easier to start these screws. Could have done this with the wheels too, the ratchet wheels. Kind of pre-start them to where they're just getting ready to poke through on the inside. Like so. And we've got this ratchet piece. You can see it's symmetrical, so it doesn't have a front or a back or a top or a bottom or anything like that. Kind of hold that in there. Run the screw in so it shouldn't be able to drop out. And here's where we'll be able to find out whether we got that front wheel put in the right way or not. So it should drop down, and when this moves, yep, we got it done right. So let's grab 2 more of the 1/2 inch, and we'll put the rear ratchet in. A power screwdriver might have been nice. Didn't think about that. Okay, so let's take a peek at the rear ratchet. The weighted part goes up. The ratchet part faces down. Like that, I think. No, that's not right. I just put it in upside down. So let's flip this around like this. So right now this piece is going to want to flip around and get in the wrong orientation, but don't worry about it right now. Yeah, see that clicking up and down? So the ratchets are both all working at this point. That's good. I guess the cosmetic pieces, if we wanted to, you'll notice that there's a notch on them, so we're going to line those notches up. And since it is cosmetic, you don't have to worry about over gluing it or anything. It's not structural. It's just to add a little bit of cosmetic relief to the whole design, just centered around the screws. Like so. This stuff has an initial grip that's pretty quick. Final cure, of course, does take longer, but hopefully we won't mess things up too much here while we're handling it. There we go. Alright, so now we've got this knee part that we glued the inside part onto, which means this piece is supposed to slip in there like that, and it should be held in place by a screw, and it should be the longest of the 632s, the 3/4, and it should slip through this main part. And I believe it this would be one of those screws that we don't want to screw down all the way. It's screwing into the part that moves. So we just kind of take the screw head in until it looks comfortable. Or tighten it down and then back it up. It feels tighter than I'm comfortable with. I think it might be because it didn't glue this back one on exactly in the right place. So what I might end up doing is going in there with a slightly shorter screw instead of the 3/4, either a 1/2 inch or maybe a 5/8. Let's see what we got laying around here. I think we still got a couple of 1/2 inches laying here. Let's see if they're long enough to do the job. Yeah, they would. I think a 5/8 would be better. Or as another option, I could take the screw out, pull this part out, just run a drill bit through to center both these holes up all the way. Then I could use that 3/4. I won't waste your time showing you to do that on camera. That's kind of self-explanatory. Alright, so this is the front. So this goes in the back. And this would, again, would be one of those 632 by 1/2 inch long, I think. Doesn't need to be that long for this part. Let me just see what else I've got laying around here. I think either the 3/8 again would be better there, or maybe even something as short as a 1/4. Let's try the 3/8. Come on. Yeah, these are, even the 3/8 are plenty long. They don't need to be that long. I probably could just go in with some 1/4s, but this is what I've got sitting here, so this is what we'll use. And again, you don't want those tight because we want this joint to be able to move. There we go. It looks good. And this short one goes to the front. So now we got the 440 by 5/8 long. Like I say, in my case, I didn't have a Phillips laying around. All I had was these funky Allen wrench ones, which look good, but this means I had to use another tool. In this case, the screw can be screwed in all the way. Good. Hopefully most of what I'm doing is where the camera can see it. I'm sitting down, so I can't see the viewfinder. I don't really know if any of this is being helpful to you all or not. Hopefully it is. Okay. So far so good. So that really just leaves the back bit of linkage. And I believe it's going to go on this way. And this is where we're going to use that one 440 that's only 3/8 long. Another size yet. And I don't particularly have the right Allen wrench for that. So I'm actually just going to wedge a flat blade in there, because that's what's laying here, and I don't feel like going all the way out to the shop to get the proper Allen wrench. Again, just what I had laying around. Didn't want to make a under the store or anything. So this one's going to go and connect to the upper body when the time comes. Got that a little too tight. There we go. And this connects to the knee joint. And there, my friends, is our assembly. Like, the only thing I'm going to change on this right now is I'm going to pull out this screw and slide this whole piece that I just put on there. I'll take that off, slide it out of the way. And I'm going to run a drill bit through to make sure that I got this side of this hole and this side of this hole lined up. Because the screw doesn't thread into this piece or this piece. It threads into the center piece. So once I know those are lined up right, I'll put that back in. I'll go back in with the 3/4 inch long 632 that I originally wanted to use, and we'll call that good. The left and right leg assemblies.